Good morning and good afternoon to all that are attending today's presentation. My name is Bill Doyle. I'm the Vice President of Indirect Sales and Business Development for the Spotfire Group of TIBCO. Thank you for making the time to attend our presentation today. Today, Edwin Hammack, who is one of our partners from Quintus, is going to show a collection of visual add-ins that they have created that allows you to extend the capabilities of Spotfire as a dashboarding platform. This is a great example of how to leverage Spotfire's SDK to create a broader set of capabilities within Spotfire. Quintus has been a long-time partner of Spotfire, acting both as a reseller and consulting partner, and we're really glad to have them presenting today. We're going to turn this over to Edwin in a second here. For those of you that have questions, please use the Q&A panel to post your questions, and then we'll be responding to some in line, or we'll hold off to the end and take some live questions and answers. So with that, again, thank you for your attendance, and I will flip it over to Edwin.
Thank you, Bill. Welcome to this webcast on the QuintusVisuals. We are happy that you can join us today in this session where we will show you the potential of QuintusVisuals. My name is Edwin Hamming, and I am here today with my colleagues André Kooi, Wouter Dijkstra and Gerco ten Kate. We would like to thank TIBCO Spotfire for making this webcast possible. For this meeting, we have the following agenda. We will start with a company introduction of Quintus Consultants. Next, we will explain what the QuintusVisuals are. We will discuss the background, integration with TIBCO Spotfire, the web player, and maintenance of the QuintusVisuals. After that, we will give a demonstration of the QuintusVisuals showing the speed dial, the traffic light, the spider plot, and the cascade graphs. Then we will discuss how to get the QuintusVisuals, the support and the license model. And at the end, we will answer questions. First, we would like to introduce Quintus Consultants to you, the company that created the QuintusVisuals. Quintus is a consultancy and software company with offices in the Netherlands and the USA. We are specialized in TIBCO Spotfire and are a TIBCO Spotfire consulting partner since 2005. We are active in many sectors like oil and gas, finance, pharma, manufacturing, healthcare, and others. Quintus works with clients located all over the world on Spotfire implementation projects, and we give support to clients. An example is the online help desk, where we can take over a client screen to solve Spotfire-related issues. Quintus works according to two base models, a contracting model. In this case, Quintus resources are hired for a specific activity for a fixed period. Or a service model. In this model, clients can contact our service desk when needed, based on an agreement with a fixed number of days. Hours used will be subtracted from the agreed amount. In this model, we are involved when necessary to solve Spotfire-related issues a client faces. This gives clients the opportunity to use our experience whenever needed. And of course, a mix of these two models is also possible. Next to this, we have developed the QuintusVisuals. We will tell you about that in the next slides. QuintusVisuals background. The development of the QuintusVisuals took several man-years. In the current release 1.3, we have the following visualizations: the spider plot, cascade graphs, speed dial, and the traffic light. The QuintusVisuals are built with the Spotfire software development kit. Installation and user guides are available, and also a help desk for support. QuintusVisuals integration in Spotfire. The installation process for the QuintusVisuals works the same as the standard Spotfire deployment process. For a full explanation on how to install the QuintusVisuals in your company, we have an installation and user manual available. We have created the same overall look and feel to integrate the QuintusVisuals as a real complementary plugin into Spotfire. Tabs such as General, Data, Fonts, Formatting and Trellis have the same look and feel. The last two main releases of Spotfire are supported. QuintusVisuals and the Web Player. The Spotfire Web Player is supported since QuintusVisuals release 1.3. The speed dial and traffic light are ideal to build dashboards together with existing Spotfire visualizations. Functions like the trellis are also working in the Web Player. QuintusVisuals maintenance. We are currently working to extend the QuintusVisuals with more functionality. Supporting the iPad by adding lasso marking is planned for the next release. New functionality in future releases is based on client demand and will be published when available. We will now demonstrate the QuintusVisuals to you with Andre Coy as speaker.
We started Spotfire and opened a preloaded file with embedded data. We would like to share the most common functionality of the QuintusVisuals in this demo. First, let's have a look on how our dataset is set up. It is a set of projects for a dummy oil and gas company with specific values for projects in time. Of course, the QuintusVisuals work with any dataset. The Webcast.dxp is what we use for the demo, and it has an embedded dataset with project portfolio and risk data. It will have project categorical columns or project attributes, operational data columns like profit, operational expenditure, capital expenditure, net cash flow, etc. It has risk index data for separate countries, and where high risk has a low number and low risk has a high number. Let's start with the speed dial. The speed dial is a powerful visualization which is often used in dashboards to display the target KPIs. The common used function of the speed dial is to display the actual status based on predefined segment values, mostly in colors like green, amber and red. So the actual value can be displayed on the scale. Our dataset contains some risk factors in the range from 0 to 1 for several types of risk per country. We would like to know which country has the lowest average risk. So we create a new page. The QuintusVisual icons are visible in the standard toolbar, grouped with the other visualization buttons. To create a speed dial, we have to click on the speed dial icon on the toolbar. A default speed dial will be created. To customize this, we have to open the properties through double-click on the title bar or the right mouse click. Let's move this window aside so you can see the speed dial while we are configuring the settings. On the Data tab, we can change the data table, and there's an option to set the value to display. We would like to select the column for average risk. By default, the aggregation is set to sum, but we would like to change that to average to calculate the correct value. With left click, we can change the aggregation type. As you now can see in the colors at the background, that the range is a bit too large. It goes from 0 to 35. We can change this on the Segments tab. We can use the Set to Current Range button to create automatic segment values, but since we know the range risk is from 0 to 1, it's better to set the segment values manually. Segment 1 will go from 0 to 0.5. Segment 2 from 0.5 to 0.75. And segment 3 from 0.75 to 1. As you can see, you can also add or delete more segments, and you can also change the segment colors. We'll leave this for now how it is. The speed dial shows the correct values, and it's showing the minimum value of 0 and the maximum value of 1. We would like to display the scale values to display the exact value. This can be done by changing settings on the Presentation tab. You can set scale changes to display a number of steps on the scale, to display a label on the number of steps, and as last, to set the format of the labels with setting the number of decimal values. In our case, we would like to set the decimals to 1 digit. The number to display the labels for each number to 2 steps. You can see it changing in the background. And the number of steps to 10. This is now automatically reflected in the visual. Now the speed dial is showing us the average risk visualized in colors. Since we would like to display the risk per country or region, therefore we can use the trellis tab. The trellis tab is similar as what you would normally expect. We select the panels option and set the split by to region, thus visualizing average risk over region. You can now see the dial's needle move slightly when we select a certain theme in the filter panel. Let's choose EOR as a single theme, and you will see that the number of dial changes and the numbers change. Let's go back to the original question. To find the country with the lowest risk, we have to change the trellis to country. We can now see that if you look at the dials, based on the number of items you want to see, that the Netherlands will actually carry the lowest risk. Please note that this risk data from 2010 comes from external public source, but of course we are happy to see that the Netherlands and the USA score well. They are in the green area with the needle. Okay, let's move to the traffic light. Another dashboard object is the traffic light. We will create a new page. The functionality of the traffic light is almost the same as the speed dial. Because the traffic light shares most of the options with the speed dial, except for the Presentation tab, it looks very similar. The traffic light is used to define if a certain KPI is doing fine, green, neutral, amber, or bad, then it will be red. And of course you can add more segments. We add the traffic light using the toolbar icon, and then we open the property screen using right click and selecting properties. Here we go directly into the data tab and select the value as we did before for average risk. With the left click we can change the aggregation type to average. Going to the Segments tab, you can add or delete more items if you want. You see segments can be added or can be deleted. Leaving the traditional traffic light look with 3 icons, but it can be very useful if your organization is using, for example, 2, 4 or 5 colored lights to display the status. This is also the place where you can change the coloring for the lights. Now we set the ranges the same way we did for the speed dial, based on a scale from 0 to 1. Segment 1 will go from 0 to 0.5. Segment 2 will go from 0.5 to 0.75. And segment 3 will go from 0.75 to 1. The trellis works the same way as you've seen in the speed dial. Let's put it on country. This shows you how easy it is to configure the dashboard objects. The next visualization we want to demonstrate is the spider plot. The spider plot, or also called radar chart or web chart, is a diagram in the form of a web that is used to indicate the relative influence of different parameters. This is usually done when there are more than 3 factors that can influence a result. Spider plots can be used to show the different causes of a problem situation. The factors that have most influence are mainly located on the outside of the web, and parameters that have little influence on problem situations are located at the web center. Also, the size of the area has significance. There are 2 types defined, the normal and the toggle version. Let us show you what we've done. On a new page, we create a spider plot. Click on either the icon in the taskbar or go to Insert, New Visualization, Spider Plot. As you can see, a first attempt to set up the spider plot is done by the visualization. Now we select a column for the dimension. In this case, we select the column region. On the measure axis, we're going to right click and we remove all the preset columns. And notice the red measures and indication that you have to set up the plot. We can now select the measures we want to have in the spider plot. Let's select some risk measures. For example, the rule of law, control of corruption, government effectiveness, voice and accountability, and regulatory quality. The correct values can be shown by changing the custom expressions to average. They're all as a default set to sum, like on all the visualizations, but you can change them to average, as you can see here. And please note by the screen that you see here that the average is a simple custom expression that you want to change, but the visuals support full custom expression functionality. As you can see, there are many labels on the screen, so we only want to show the labels for marked items right now. To hide the labels and show them only for marked rows, go to Properties, Labels, and select the option for marked rows. To hide the markers, you can go to Properties, Appearance, and uncheck Show Markers. And you see that the blue dots in the visualization disappear and reappear when you click the item. To remove the fill-in color, where it's shown as a surface, we have to select the artboard to none. Go to Properties, Appearance, and select None. Then instead of a surface, you're going to see just a line. We would like to change the values in the spider plot so that the highest risk is placed at the outside in the spider plot. And please note that in our data table, a low number means a high risk. We have 2 options to arrange this. The first option is to create calculated columns with an expression like 1 minus the risk value. But this is a bit tedious to arrange. Therefore, we have the built-in function that you know from other visualizations to reverse the scale. If you do a right click, and then you can go to reverse scale, and that will now move the small values to the outside to show the high risks on the outside. Because the risk values are in the range from 0 to 1, we have to define the range for each risk. The automatic built-in function is based on the minimum and maximum number for each variable in the set. But to change these values, we can go to Properties, Dimensions, and set the range for each measure line, the low and the high value, which is in this case 0 and 1. And by using Tab, you can easily flip from one to the other. And this is the spider plot where now the center shows the low risks and the outside shows the high risks on the absolute scale from 0 to 1. To display a spider plot per theme, we can apply the trellis function to this spider plot. We can go to Properties, Trellis, select for example the panels, and split by theme, and the manual layout can also be set to 2 by 2, for example. You can see that risks in tight gas are typically smaller than they are for deep water in this type of visualization. Now we would like to show you the cascade visualization. To continue with the cascade chart, we create a new tab again to insert the cascade graph. Click on the new cascade icon in the toolbar. And a cascade in column mode appears. The initial setup of the cascade is done by the program and visualizes 4 columns. The cascade column basically shows the aggregation over one column, with the difference, compared to the regular bar chart, that there's an offset added. So each bar is starting where the previous one ended. These offsets can be manipulated by custom expressions if needed. In our data table project portfolio, we have columns indicating revenue, OPEX, CAPEX, taxes, etc. We can use these columns to show if our net cash flow matches up with the expenses starting with our revenue. We select the following columns: revenue, CAPEX, OPEX, taxes, abandonment, and net cash flow. Please note that revenue is a credit and hence has negative values. You can see that for the whole portfolio, since we didn't do any filtering, that the revenues are divided over the separate cost categories CAPEX, OPEX, taxes, and abandonment, and that the remaining net cash flow is what's the last part of the revenue. This also applies when you filter, for example, to only Project Charlie. Now that you've seen the cascade column-based, we would also like you to show you the cascade row option. A cascade plot can be used for analytical purposes, and in particular for understanding or explaining the gradual transition of a quantitative value for each entity that is subject to an increase or a decrease. For example, when you want to compare budget to actual values or one year to another. Right-click on the cascade column and go to Properties. Click on the X-axis tab and then select the automatic row-based. And the first attempt to set up the selected columns project number, priority, and project name will be started, as you can see on the X-axis. Since it's best to use a time dimension for a snapshot, we select year for the snapshot, indicated by the blue columns. Also, we change the dimension to region instead of project number, and we change the steps, which is on the Y-axis, to net cash flow. The checkbox is used to change from delta to aggregate mode. We'll show you how this works later in the demo. We'll leave this box ticked for now. Now we see 15 years, and each year is showing 6 dimensions by the regions. We will filter to the years 2010, 2014, and 2015 only to show you how this visualization works. As you can see here, the total net cash flow for 2010 is 11,407.8. The total net cash flow for 2014, indicated by the next blue bar, is 4,721.96. The cascade graph has automatically calculated for each region what its contribution is to the change. So, the net cash flow for Africa between 2014 and 2014 has improved by 1,528. The contribution for Asia has decreased by 1,562. You can also see that in 2015, the total cash flow has increased to 10,507.33, and you see the change between 2014 and 2015 for each region by, in this case, in all cases, green bars. If you want to see the aggregate values rather than the deltas, then go to right-click and select Properties, and then select the X-axis tab. Here you can uncheck the checkbox for the Cascade Delta row. When we now reset the filter for years to all years, you can actually see the cumulative cash flow for this whole portfolio over time. So you can see that the deepest point for our investment happens in 2014, and that the cumulative will go for 2025 to a high number, and the total positive cash flow is somewhere between 2016 and 2017. Now we will show you the web player version of this document. We go to the speed dial tab, page 3, and we save the DXP to the library by clicking File, Save As, a library item. We save the DXP as the webcast for the 18th of April, and we click Finish. We can now click on the web player link to open this DXP with QuintusVisuals directly inside the web player. The web player is launched, and here you see the speed dial in the web player. This concludes the demonstration of the QuintusVisuals. We will now continue with Edwin for more information and questions and answers thereafter.
Okay, thank you, Andre. How can you get the QuintusVisuals? The QuintusVisuals are sold by Quintus. We use a license model with a 3-year license period or a perpetual license. The visuals are sold as a package of all 4 together. The price per user depends on the number of users, but is in the order of €100 or $130 per user per year for a 3-year license. For the reseller channel, we use different pricing models. We deliver support via our own support desk. Maintenance and support fee is 60% of the license fee per year for a 3-year license, and 18% of the license fee for a perpetual license. For Spotfire resellers, it is possible to enter into an agreement with Quintus. For more information, please contact us. We will now discuss some questions that have been raised during the session.
Edwin, I have flagged the key ones here, so I'll kind of parse it to help out the process. I think the one question, even though you answered it, I think a benefit to repeat it. A person asked, can you do all the normal Spotfire custom expressions in the visualizations themselves?
This is Andre. Yes, you can. There's just one limitation, that not all of the over expressions are supported in the custom expressions, but everything else you can do.
Great, thanks. The next question was that in the speed dial, how do you sort the data from low risk to high risk, or possibly top 10, bottom 10?
This is Andre again. You would probably have to do that by doing a calculated column that would drive, that you would rank them by risk, and that would then be the order for the visualizations. Got it.
This next question, once the metrics are exported to web player, the data will update automatically.
Exactly the same way as the regular web player items work. So also if you have information links and you have new data coming in, the visuals will automatically be updated based on the new data, or when you click on the reload, then that will automatically happen the same way as it works for the regular web player.
Thank you. The next question I'll answer, is this available on the Spotfire Silver platform? And the answer is no. That Silver is limited to the functionality as contained in the base Spotfire platform. Next question is there a drill down capability available for speed dial or traffic lights?
Not at the moment, but that's a very good thing to take along because there's no marking functionality in either of the two yet. So that's a very good question. We don't have that at the moment, but we'll take that. We'll definitely note that for one of the future releases because I think that is a very good functionality to have.
Next question. This is a licensing question. Will it be necessary to purchase licenses for all Spotfire users on the server, or can it be done for only select users?
As current customers have already done, some of them have only bought it for a selected set of users. So yes, that can be done. You can limit the number of users you want to do, and then do that with the licensing model on the Spotfire server.
Okay. Do you offer a trial version?
Yes, we do offer a trial version that can be used to try out QuintusVisuals.
Okay. Next question is on pricing. The cost for a 3-year license is $130 US per user per year. Is that correct?
Yes, that's the approximate amount. Of course, you have to take into account that there's maintenance included, and the more licenses you buy, the price will be a little bit lower, but this is a good indication.
But I would also suggest that they take that offline with you in that it's not a annual fee-based license, it's a 3-year upfront term.
It is, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then the subsequent question on the same thread is, what is the cost of a perpetual seat?
Roughly, you can double the price of a perpetual seat based on the 3-year license price.
Okay.
But we want to stress that customers can best get into contact, and also resellers get into contact to see what will be a specific deal, because it's very dependent, of course, on the number of users. And the price per user will be bigger if you do it for 20 people than when you do it for an unlimited enterprise license agreement.
Okay. The next question, can you set the values within the visualizations from a property?
That is not possible at the moment.
Okay. And then the parallel question, are property controls supported in the visualizations?
We have a workaround to do it with the calculated columns, but we don't support it at the moment in the customer expressions, no.
Okay. On the slider chart, or excuse me, on the spider chart, can you set the axes to be different risk factors and different lines for each country?
Yes, you can do it. We have a toggle functionality available on the spider plot. Gerko, could you maybe show that? If we go back to the spider plot as you have it now, so you can see that now the risks are the colors and the regions are on the axes, but using the toggle chart feature, this flips around, and now we can change the region to country on the y-axis. And that shows it like this. I hope that this is the answer to the question.
The next one is, this is to me, are similar Quintus visualizations going to be native on current or future versions of Spotfire? And the answer is to be determined. What I would tell you as a product company, we can't specifically state what additional visualizations are going to be added into the product. My suggestion is that we know right now we don't offer any of these visualizations. And here's a solution that if you're looking for these types of visualizations that you can take advantage of now. And I think it's in Quintus's intentions to be continuing to support these products for quite some time. So I can't tell you if we're going to have these similar visualizations in future releases or not. Next one is, I think we answered this already. Can we do drill down on the visualizations?
You can do it on the spider plot and on the cascade. We did not implement it yet for the speed dial and for the traffic light, but we're going to pick that up. But for the other two, so for the spider plot and for the cascade, the drill down does work.
Okay. Next one is, what financial companies work with Quintus in Europe?
we are very prudent in usually not mentioning our customers on a big basis like this. But we can definitely answer the question in a one-to-one conversation.
Makes complete sense. Is there support between different visualizations between using data-limited markings?
Very good question. The support is done from our visualization that when you mark something in the QuintusVisuals, that all the other visualizations are marked, but we have to do a bit of a trick for that, but we can do that. That you use another visualization and then the QuintusVisuals as a child is also supported. So yes, the limit by marking functionality is available, but in the case that you want to have the QuintusVisuals as a details, you'll have to do a bit of a trick. But that's available, and we have that already working at one of our prospects.
Gotcha. Next question, is there a demo available of the QuintusVisuals on the Spotfire gallery? Not currently, but I believe we are planning to post that up there.
Yes.
The next question is the €100 per professional or web player seat?
It's a bit of in quoting that number, we took a bit of an average installation on the mix between professional users and web players. So it was just to give you a bit of an indication what the cost would be. So for professional, it's a bit higher than for the web player. The price we mentioned is a bit more for having a bit of an indication.
Can I use hierarchies with the speed dials or traffic lights?
Not at the moment.
Can you stack values on a spider plot to see a cumulative risk?
Yes, we've done that a bit. It depends a bit on how you want to do it, but you can stack the values to see the cumulative risk by using a calculated column to add that, not with a custom expression. And you get a bit of a spiral kind of graph. We've done that before, yes.
Is on-demand data loading available with the visualizations?
Yes, that's fully available.
Okay. I'm just sorting through some of these because there's like other comments in here. The person
Can I take Michelle Lacey's one on the additional visualizations?
Sure, go ahead.
We do plan to add more visualizations in the future. Right? We have already some suggestions and some ideas, but it's not concrete yet. And the same as TIBCO does, we want to be careful in what we are going to announce till we have that final. But it's definitely our intention to expand the set from these 4 to more visualizations.
Okay. I think this is a connected question to a previous one. Can these be derived from IronPython scripting? I think it was linked to a previous question. Is that connected to the on-demand question? This is from Abhinav Garg.
Maybe it's also good if Abhinav contacts Edwin with the email address that you have on screen, and then we can answer the question directly. So we know the full question. Yep.
Okay. Will there be a future functionality to move the dials on the speed dials to adjust values shown?
Don't need, if I fully grasp the move the dials on the speed dials to adjust values shown. I don't know what's intended with the question. Do you have an idea, Bill?
That I don't know. But this transcript will be going to our product management, so a lot of this will get fed back to them. If there's a follow-up answer on that one, someone will respond.
I guess it maybe is that you can take the dial and use it to slide, so it would be a kind of an input parameter. That's not how we designed them. No. So if that's the question, then we cannot do it.
That makes sense that might have been the ultimate question. This next question, is it possible to make custom visualizations such as adjusting a polar plot to work over the surface of a pie chart? That's not specific to the Quintus solutions, and I would have to ask you to connect with us offline on that one to talk to one of our PS folks as to how that could be done using the SDK. Let's see, I think the next, you already answered this one, you already answered this one. This person asked, repeating a question, but asked a second part, is Spotfire supporting these types of visualization in the future? And I addressed that, but is Spotfire depending on partners for additional visualization? And my comment there is that we absolutely want to foster as much creativity in both the customer as well as direct user market to create additional visualizations. One of the things that we are exploring right now is how we can create a collaborative environment to let partners post potential visualizations or options like QuintusVisuals so that we can have a single point of exposure. I'm not suggesting necessarily a marketplace, but at least have a common area to allow our various partner networks to, in essence, advertise. So I absolutely encourage anybody that's on the presentation today that is a Spotfire partner to consider other types of visualizations that you think have value in the market. Can you change the font size of average risk in the speed dial?
Not at the moment, but adding the font to the speed dial is something we have high on the list for the next coming version. Yes, it's something we have available in the other visualization, just not on the speed dial.
This next one's a good one. I actually had this question myself. Which boundary includes the 0.5 on the traffic light, the red or the yellow?
Excellent question. I think it's the 0.5 is included in the red, as far as I know. But it's something I'll check, because yes, it's important to know which one of the boundaries it is, but as far as I know, it's included in the red. But of course, the dial will show exactly in the middle.
Yeah, but I like the fact that you don't have to guess.
No, very good, yeah.
Can support of Quintus be provided by Spotfire, or must that be separately provided? And the answer is, Spotfire is not actually selling the QuintusVisuals. So the support for these products are directly provided by Quintus. Our support desk is not equipped to respond to questions on the QuintusVisuals. The subsequent question, similar, I have a license with Spotfire, should I have a separate license with QuintusVisuals? And the answer is yes. You can reach out to the information that Edwin has on the screen now to directly obtain licenses, and they will provide the subsequent support. To you, Edwin, do you have enterprise pricing?
Yes, we do. We can, let's talk about that offline, but we do have enterprise pricing.
Okay. How long does it take for a developer to create a visualization like that using the SDK? And unfortunately, given my consultant answer, it depends. It depends on the complexity, it depends on the interface that you want to have. Jose, if you'd like to send a comment or question into spotfirepartners@TIBCO.com, I can have someone from my OEM team connect with you. Can you view detailed visualizations based on traffic lights or speed dials? In other words, drilling down to the underlying data.
No, for the traffic lights and the speed dials, not yet, but as stated, it's a requirement that we have already from existing customers. So we definitely have the intent to include that in one of the very near future releases.
Okay, and can you animate the speed dial when it is setting the value? I think we addressed that one. And the last two have to do with previous questions on support and enterprise license. So again, just to clarify on that, the licensing questions, the QuintusVisuals are not sold by Spotfire. They are purchased directly from Quintus, so they cannot be, in essence, bundled or part of a direct Spotfire sale as it relates to a Spotfire rep selling. With that, that's the end of the questions. If there's any more, one just came in. How many releases a year does Quintus have?
We want to make sure that we have a QuintusVisuals release that works with the new Spotfire release. So if there is, it's necessary to make changes to make that work, then we have a release. But it depends on the new functionality that wants released. But at the moment, you could roughly say that we have approximately 2 releases a year.
Great. Well, that's the end of the question list. I want to thank, again, all of you that were able to participate today, and certainly want to thank the Quintus team for sharing their product suite. I think it's great stuff, and I do encourage folks to take a look at it and leverage it as part of either applications you're taking to market, or for those that are direct customers, to leverage that in your organizations. So with that, I thank you again, and have a wonderful day. Edwin, any closing comment you wanted to share?
I just wanted to thank all participants for joining us, and that we are very proud that we have the QuintusVisuals available, and hope that you contact me via email for further information. Thank you. And also thank you, Bill, for making this possible.
No problem. Glad to have you there. Thanks again, folks. Have a wonderful day.